people. Welcome to this special emission previews of the Humanitarian Awards. I'm Martin, and I'll be with you the whole show. As you know, the Historical Female Awards are around the corner, and we will be awarding several female personalities that have contributed greatly in many fields.
Yes, of course you do. I'm Agueda, and I'll be alongside Martin to lead this special show. We couldn't forget Pravi's contribution of this woman, whose achievements still have impacts in our daily lives.
That's why tonight we will go back and honor previous winners that received this distinguished award. And more special, we will have here the winners of the last century, and they will tell us about their accomplishments and struggles that they had to go through that made them deserve this recognition.
Let's get started by bringing our first woman here. She's well known for her long humanitarian labor and for being awarded with a Nobel Peace Prize. We're talking about Mother Teresa de Calcuta. Hello, I'm really grateful to be here. Please sit down.
Mother Teresa, you won a Nobel Peace Prize and being granted with the Female Humanitarian Award also in 1989 for your heart, charity, and Catholic working with people. Can you tell us a little more about your background?
Well, I joined the Sisters of Loreto when I was only 18, leaving my mother and sister behind. I took my first vows when I was 21. I was teaching in a school in Ireland in 1937 when I took my solemn vows at Loreto Convent School. I served there for 20 years and I was named headmistress in 1944.
That's a long teaching career, and I bet that gave you the experience and the eager feeling of helping others. And as I might heard, some call it the calling in the call. Can you talk to us about the labor that was meant to be made by you?
Well, I was ordered to go out of the convent and go help the poor by living among them. My missionary work began in India by learning basic medical techniques in Holy Family Hospital in 1949. I joined a group of women and founded a new religious community to help the poor. And by 1950, I got the permission of the Vatican to make the Diocesan Congregation of Missionaries of Charity. We help the poor, the naked, and the homeless people all around the world. This congregation grew international and is still working by the help of the sisters and brothers' dedication.
Mother Teresa, no wonder why you won the Historical Female Award in the time you were nominated. You care for people, and needed people are beyond barriers. I congratulate you, without before saying that you deserve all this recognition and you made a difference in this world. Thank you for being here, and maybe I'll see you again this year's show as a special guest.
I hope to see you too soon, and I'll be delighted to be here on the event.
Now let's keep going. So many women and so little time. The following female personality won the award in 1996 by her working action on female rights, but not the common rights, like voting and equality. This was more drastic issue that nobody wanted to take care of. Before explaining what her accomplishment was, let's introduce this respectable and brave woman. Here is Louise Jensen.
Good evening, thank you for having me here tonight.
Welcome back, Ms. Jensen. We truly think that you're a well-deserved award winner, mostly because your heart story needs to be known by everyone, not only women but men, so they can see that us women fight for a living too. So please, Ms. Jensen, can you talk to us about your labor and the actions that got you here, a former award winner?
Yes, of course. Nowadays, working class women have many laws and rights that protect them and have them reserved for their work environment. And when I started working in the mines, things were a whole lot different. Back then, women were new to this type of jobs. Men were the main characters in the mining industry. And women were involved in a stem of hostile behavior by the male employees there. They included sexual harassment, abusive language, stalking, threats, intimidation, and we were constantly being harassed, not just sexually, but also emotionally. There were no safety precautions being taken by the employers because we as women were not taken serious and were not as valuable to them. To me, the working conditions were harsh and unbearable. I had to maintain my job. I had a family to care for and I had to provide for them. So I thought about all of this, and during the summer of 1988, I filed a lawsuit against Elizabeth Taconite on sexual harassment. Let's keep in mind that throughout the history of the United States, this was the first lawsuit ever filed for sexual harassment. Of course, controversy followed.
We never think about these types of conditions women had to suffer in their jobs. It's like we underestimate them. Also, I see that you demanded that the company paid all the women for punitive damages and afford mental anguish, so as sexual harassment education for the mine employees.
That is correct. And my story and the trial, in fact, brought the whole country's attention. And it, of course, drew facts and acts and everything in favor of women in their working environment. So things did change for women. Also, it is a good time to point out that as I and as many other women, men go through this too. I mean, they're also being abused, and they should be serious and about that, and they should be doing something about it so that they can be taken serious as women.
Yes, equality is important. So thank you, Ms. Jensen. Thank you very much for being here. It was very nice to have you here, and the awesome job you have done. Women keep trying to get through by themselves. So you're an example. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's add, before moving on, that the trial lasted over more than 10 years. Since it was hard to be supported with controversial cause, after this case, many others among women became famous in offices and voices began to rise.
Here we have another past winner of this award. Please welcome Marian Wright. She's known for being advocate for disadvantaged Americans and for founding Children's Defense Fund, which helps children in poverty. Please.
Thank you. I feel so honored and excited when I found out that I have won this award. It makes me feel like I have made a difference to all young people in the United States.
Marianne, what do you have to overcome to get where you are? Any particular challenges that cause you to look back at what you were doing and rethink your strategy?
I think the greatest challenge overall for me was the aspect to be an African American woman in a country where men are thought to be superior to women. Also, when I was 14 years old, I lost my father, and that affected me in a lot of ways. One of the things he told me it was to keep going forward with my studies, and that's what I did. And to these days, I feel grateful for what he said to me.
A very sad story, Marianne. But at the end of the day, I think we all know that those words help you out a lot and inspire you to change other young people's lives. Thank you for your time to this quick recap, Marianne.
Thank you.
One of the most famous teenagers in the world today, and is the youngest person to receive this award. Only being 16 years old, She is from Pakistan and is currently fighting for the rights for women to be able to have an education in Pakistan. Her name is Malala Yousafzai. She also has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice and has survived an assassination attempt. Malala, can you tell us about how you have overcome all these difficult changes that have been put in your path?
Sure. I have always felt that all of us should be treated equal. And I think that being born a woman should not impede our education and how we are treated also. I feel that I can make a large impact by reaching out to young people simply by being as young as the people I am trying to reach out to.
Do you think that it's okay for people to use intimidation as a tool to silence the words?
I think that everything has to be said through actions. And I know what I'm doing is for justice. I know that we can make a bigger difference if we set our minds to whatever goals we have.
Very moving words, Malala. I know that you're such an inspirational young lady and a role model for women worldwide. I know that we can all make a big difference only if we set out to change things. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome Dorothy Crawford. How have you been, Dorothy?
Very good. So we want to talk about what you've done, about your early life, and who you were before you were.
Well, I was born in Cairo on May 12, 1910, while my father was working on the Egyptian Education Service. During those years, I lived on the English community.
Tell us about your studies.
I became interested in chemistry at about age of 10. Then when I was 18, I started to study chemistry in the Somerville College. Then I studied my PhD from Cambridge University under the supervision of John Desmond Burnham. It's there when I became aware of the X-ray crystallography, that it contains, and the structure of proteins.
What about your contributions?
Me and my colleagues saw the structure of the penicillin, that it contains the actin.
And here we have a list of another awards and honors you've got. There is a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1961. You were the second woman recipient of the Copley Medal, a Royal Fellow of the Royal Society. Winner of the Lenin Peace Prize, and you were a council of Bristol University from 1970 to 1988.
You were awarded an honorary degree from the University of Bath in 1978 and in 1983. You received the Austrian Decoration for Science and Art. Is that all true?
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much for coming this evening.
Next guest is a long track distance and a road runner.
Everybody, welcome Taylor LaRue.
Tegla, you're a runner, but also a global spokeswoman.
That's true. I think women and men should have the same rights and that everyone has the right to receive education.
Tell us what you've done.
Well, actually, I have the world record for 20, 25, and 30 kilometers. I had previously the world marathon record. I am a 3-time world half marathon champion, and I'm also the first African woman to win the New York City Marathon.
Which you have won twice, right?
That's right.
I heard you have a lot of siblings.
Yes, I do. I have 24 siblings. My father had 4 wives.
Is that the way they live where you're from?
Actually, it is. I am from Kitamoni, Kenya, and it's a polygamous tribe, and my parents are from the Ponca tribe.
To finish, are other places in which you have participated in marathons and more?
Yes, I've been in London, Boston, Rotterdam, Hong Kong, Rome, and many others.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Tegla, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Now we're going to present a woman who is a marine biologist and an author of the book Silent Spring.
Please welcome Rachel Carson.
Rachel, please talk us about your life.
I am from Springfield, Pennsylvania. I first studied English, but then I switched to biology. I also helped the student newspaper and the literature supplementary. After I graduated, I became a part-time student by taking an assistantship on Raymond Carr's laboratory.
What can you say about your book Silent Spring?
It was published on September 27 of 1962, and it argues the unexamined use of pesticides and the fact that it kills not only plants and animals but also humans.
Why the title Silent Spring?
The title was meant to evoke a spring season in which no bird song could be heard because they all vanished as a result of the pesticide abuse.
Thank you, Rachel, for sharing your experience with us. Your contribution to the world obviously made remarkable changes. Thank you.